And fellow Toastmasters, and if we have any guests, them as well. Okay, we got an American value system, whether you know it or not. And my goal here is to explain to you what it consists of. Maybe you've wondered, when I ask, what is the American value system? You have some general ideas of freedom, maybe beyond that, some various other concepts that you've picked up over time that have been inferred from various things that we celebrate. And you'll notice that there's a very wide opinion as to what is the American value system. My goal is to provide you with a easy to remember bullet point format as to how you can express it to other folks. And one way of doing this is to pull out a coin. Oh, good, I do have it in my pocket. And my journey only costs you this little coin here. You probably all have it in your pockets, whether it's a penny, nickel, dime, what have you. And you'll notice on each coin that there are three particular values. The first of these is, "In God we trust." There's a couple things you need to know about the God that's being referred to on here. First is that He's the one from whom we get our values. It's not a government that can claw them back if they so see fit to do so. It's things that we're born with. The second point that I want to communicate here is it is also a God that has certain demands. There's accountability that goes along with it. We will be judged for certain things that we do. There's this policeman effect. They'll say where folks, when they know that they're being watched, are going to behave, hopefully, in a more civilized manner. And the second point that I've got is liberty. You'll find that on your coin as well. Unfortunately, what we found is that whereas in God we trust, we end up trusting in men who we've decided to give power to and who we've elected in many cases. I think we've seen, unfortunately, with great regularity, is that mankind is drawn to power, it gets corrupted by power. And unfortunately, the more power that we give to them, the less we will see of liberty. And liberty is our ability to exercise our inalienable rights in a fashion that we so choose. Of course, there's certain limits to this that we all need to adhere to as part of a civilized society. There is an American belief that we're able to determine our own destinies. And for centuries, immigrants have flocked to this country under that belief that if I come here and if I work hard, if I'm responsible, I can get ahead. In contrast, what we find today is there's emergence of a competing value called equality. It sounds pretty good. Obviously, we want everyone to be on equal footing and have the same opportunities. A lot of times equality gets confused with you have this and I don't. We should all kind of have the same thing. And that's not compatible with liberty. If you are familiar with the French Revolution, they had liberty, equality, fraternity. So obviously they thought they were compatible, but that is not true, unfortunately. I can use an example here of a German shopkeeper. They have laws over there where your operation can be open for a certain number of hours in a given day, after which you need to close up your shop and go home. Some in Germany may want to keep their shop open for an extended length of time so they can earn more income and better provide for their family. That option is taken away from them because to do so would allow them to earn more income than their fellow shopkeepers, and that would be seen as an unfair advantage. They would no longer be equal with their fellow business owners who want to go home early. It's a bit of an odd concept that we maybe don't quite understand here. And you can work as hard as you want in this country, You may recognize, though, as you go up in the tax brackets that you'll keep less and less share of what it is that you earn. That's a topic for a different time. I have to get to my third value here before I close. Third value is perhaps the least understood. This is e pluribus unum. That's the trickiest part. It's in Latin, so you got to do a little bit of translation there. It means from many one. Our founders envisioned a land where people with similar values and dreams would flock to, and they would be able to assimilate into a culture where folks want to be able to control their own destinies, as I referred to earlier. They didn't really come seeking things such as free health care and education. What they wanted is an opportunity to flourish and to use their talents without any constraints that maybe they experienced back at the home where they came from, and also to keep the benefits of their labor, whereas in other countries you get what you need and maybe not much else. And here, if you do want to enjoy a certain lifestyle, you're allowed to work for that and to achieve it. Most of the world will judge you based on your family, your social standing, your ethnicity perhaps, and in America, you're judged based on your personal merits, more so than anywhere else in the country. You can argue that there are exceptions to this, and certainly there are, but if you want the fairest playground, this is the place to come. And we see a lot of people that do that for that very reason. However, today I see a lot of people being lumped into groups more so than as individuals. And we understand that we are a nation of immigrants. We look at our family trees, and we don't have to go back very far in most cases to see that, okay, we do have folks from all over this world, and we are, in general, no exception. And we discovered that folks came here seeking a new life, and there's a culture that needs to be adhered to. So let's look at the NG corporate culture, where you've got some people want quality at all costs, some people are looking for cost savings. If you have these competing values, you're going to have a dysfunctional culture, and society is very much similar in that fashion. So it is important that whereas if you have multiculturalism, every culture has its values and such. Okay, yeah, certainly that is true. But you can't have a cohesive culture when you've got all these different competing values. When you bring in folks from other countries and they take their values and culture with them rather than assimilating, the home culture is going to erode over time. And unfortunately, I think we're seeing more and more of that as time goes on, and people don't really understand what the American values are to begin with, so it's hard to see them eroding. So I'm hoping that you've come to see that the indispensable role of "In God We Trust," e pluribus unum, liberty, in making this an exceptional country. You probably are hearing a lot of this stuff for the first time, and we don't teach this stuff in school. I don't think it's really very well understood or communicated. Folks who are coming here from other countries, they see right away when they come in, oh, this land is different. This is where I'm going to make my new home. Unfortunately, they don't communicate that to their kids, so the message gets lost along the way. My goal is that if you are concerned about the values in this country and preserving them, that you'll adopt the values that I shared as your own. You'll communicate them to others that you come across because the future of this country depends upon it. Thank you very much.